Let's go to Baltimore here, who is picking at number 27. Obviously, we're talking about the good teams now, so less holes, more high upside, more depth. Let's get into that. Mike, start us off with Baltimore here.
Baltimore, I kind of took a different approach and hoping that this one I don't get too much flack for this one, but just trying to vet my lists here. I like Tyler Booker in this spot. I really think they can add to the interior of that offensive line. They can really, Derrick Henry is coming up on his age 31 season. He's still got some juice in the tank there, but I think they really need to lean in heavy on that interior ground attack, grab Booker, and just start knocking people out right in the middle of that line.
Eli?
I really like the idea of adding Shamar Stewart to this defensive line. The Ravens love big, strong, powerful edge rushers. The sack production wasn't there, but he is literally the most athletic defensive tester in the history of the RAS score. Adding him to the pass rush in the cold against the Steelers, being able to affect Burrow is going to be incredibly important to winning this division. I love the Shamar pick here.
I happen to agree with Shamar here on this front. Look, I think if there's a player and team match that goes, the raw skills of Shamar with the coaching ability of John Harbaugh and that team and that defense, which continues to take good players and make them great. With Kenneth Grant off the board, Shamar Stewart here. I absolutely love that pick. Let's lock him in to the Raiders.
Oh. We're going to keep this moving. We're going to keep this moving.
My God.
Sir,
what are we doing here?
The D-line was not the issue with this defense last year. The defensive secondary was the issue with this defense last year, and they are playing against receivers like Jamar Chase. They're playing against DK Metcalf. They're playing against George Pickens, T. Higgins. The Browns have Jerry Jeudy.
What cornerback do you have in this spot that you'd put up against those right now? I mean, we've taken a lot of the good cornerbacks and taken them off the board.
We have not taken the athletic freak in Siobhan Rivell from Eastern Carolina. And so along the same lines of the fact that the Ravens like drafting just physical players, this athletic freak can absolutely, at least athletically, hang with those top receivers. And now the Ravens, I trust us as a team to develop a corner such as Siobhan so that we have him on one outside, Nate Wiggins on the other outside, and Marlon Humphrey at the slot corner, and then we have Kyle Hamilton playing the deep middle. I don't see, assuming we develop Siobhan how I believe we can, I don't see a better secondary in the NFL than that.
We already have Nate Wiggins, Marlon Humphrey, Kyle Hamilton in the secondary. Our current starting edge rushers are Kyle Van Noy and Broderick Washington.
No, one of those got Odafe Owe, David Ojabo, I think, or did Ojabo go to the Patriots? Maybe, but no, they do have some edge rushers. But right now, this is completely based on the division they're in. I agree, Shamar Stewart. If I wasn't picking a corner, Shamar Stewart's an amazing pick for them because edge rusher is the next need in my mind. But getting an athletic freak who may actually be able to match up with those aliens in your division, that I think is pretty much the only way you're going to be able to consistently shut down those offenses if you have the best secondary in the league.
That's why we took Nate Robinson last year.
Yeah, the only thing I will say to that is that the Ravens. The Ravens, we did make an adjustment after the second Cincinnati game. After that, did not allow more than 24 points in a game. I do believe that they made a shift at one point where Kyle Hamilton was playing more single high. That helped limit a lot of the damage. So it came in more scheme.
They did lose some players though from that defense.
I think they can still make the adjustment. We lose players every year. And
they lost
still
a great
somehow
safety in Ardarius Washington. Like they lost a great cover guy.
I know we can. Where are we going?
I was going to say I turned in the card a little bit ago. I was letting you guys hand it out. Shamar Stewart is going to add to this roster again. I think the way that this team can coach him up and turn him from, I think this guy screams, oh, look at the Ravens. They drafted somebody in the back half of the first round, and he's a top half of the first round talent. Shamar Stewart, let's lock him in there.